Welcome in, everybody. Fifth quarter extra. Simone, Eli, Gerhard, Mathangani joining you this evening to recap an unbelievable Week 9 of the high school football season, Gerhard. Wow, we're just catching our breath, trying to get on the air as quick as possible to recap what has been pretty unprecedented. This has been crazy, some insane finishes, region crowns up for grabs, Gerhard. We had no idea what this was going to look like, and wow, has it been unbelievable.
We knew going into the night, Simone, that at the end of the day, we would have a much clearer picture about not only region champions, but also who might fill in those 4 spots. What we could not forecast was just how dynamic these games would be and just how close they would be at the end to be able to get these winners to secure those spots. We knew that we would get here. We didn't know how.
No doubt. And it has been wild, guys. We're going to start tonight in our game of the week. Williamson taking on Viger. Gerhard, we were both out for this one, and man, was it exciting to watch this get started.
It was an unbelievable game here. The 34th meeting between these two football programs. There you see Sammy Dunn on the right wearing the number 3. He was out. Dylan Jackson was in this football game, and there was no conservative play calling here from John McKenzie and the Wolves. A big play here. Garrett Holcomb comes up with the first touchdown of the game. That was the second play of the game and a real momentum setter for Viger. Then a little bit later, it's Carlos Benjamin Jr. I just want you to appreciate his speed because once he goes, Green Pants is gone. There's not a white jersey in the frame, and it's a 13-0 lead for Viger. Williamson's offense, you could tell they would take a step forward and then have 2 steps back, whether it was because of the Viger defense, some penalties, just they could not get rolling consistently on offense. John Austin here with a nice play from their offense, but it was the Viger defense. Simone, that was just unbelievable. Jabarius Guerra, you've heard about him from all talks as far as where he stands in the class of 2027. The Williamson offense has been great all season long, but shout out and credit to this Viger defense. They were just unbelievable tonight, giving up just 2 points.
Yeah, they really were. You didn't know really how this one's going to shake out. 2 defenses that have given up an average of less than 6 points per game, but it goes the way of the Viger Wolves. Needless to say, John McKenzie is on a mission to prove that he can do what he did at Viger 3 years ago and lead the Wolfpack to a state championship, not just a region championship. But for now, Viger wins the 5A Region 1 crown. Williamson will be the 2. They will both host a home game. Citronelle is going to be the 3. And we have to do the math. Right now, UMS in at the 4. They will have a tiebreaker over BC Range should that end in a tie. Right. I'm not sure. I have to look at the schedule, but that is what that region looks like for 5A Region 1. All right, another huge one tonight, the Battle of West Mobile over at Baker High School. A top 10 matchup between these 2 teams. Zach Golson has really just revitalized this MGM program. Jalen Tolbert, the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver out for this game, of course, went to South Alabama. Zach Golson, Juan Johnson has done great things for Baker so far this season. Both teams undefeated, ranked in the top 10 in the state in Class 7A. Take a look. Baker going to come out and absolutely punch MGM in the mouth early in this game. Hand it to the Hornets. They were ready to play. That's Jalen Wheeler on the carry. Then they're going to go back to him. Why not? On the outside, breaks through some defenders here. Nothing but green grass. You can tell these guys were ready to play. And from what I heard, it was a little bit chippy out there tonight, but of course, what you're going to get in a rivalry game. Juan Johnson's pumped up, man. You got to love it from him for sure. He's played in a lot of big games, coached in a lot of big games, no doubt. All right, here's MGM coming right back at them on the move. Cedric Brown in to pay dirt, and then Shondell Harris hit Shamar Elston. It was 14-7 at that point, guys. Now, this was a back and forth battle, but ultimately, MGM is going to tie the game to force overtime. It's 28-28. They go into overtime in this matchup, right? Again, it's on the road. It's at Baker. Baker gets the ball first. They kick a field goal, take a 3-point lead. It's 31-28. Now, back it up a little bit. MGM had the chance to win this game in regulation, or at least take a lead with just about 30 seconds left to play. They had a field goal that either got blocked. I wasn't sure. I was watching the live stream for that. Anyways, goes into overtime, 28 all. Baker takes a 31-28 lead. MGM then gets the ball, right? Well, they have it 4th and goal, and Zach Golson says, we're going to go for this on the road, and we're going to keep it in the hands of our playmaker. His name's Shondell Harris. Check this out, you guys. Unbelievable. Into the end zone he goes. The celebration is fantastic. Shondell Harris I think he lays on the ground on the turf for a second here. I'm not sure. I think he might have been injured slightly. Hopefully he's okay, but I think just like had to have a moment maybe. I mean, he's probably exhausted, quite frankly. Right there is just weeks and weeks of work up to this moment, and MGM walks off the win here. 34-31, the final. MGM beats Baker to claim the 7A Region 1 crown. We spoke with Zach Golson and company after the big win. Take a listen.
It was a great football game. Hats off to Baker. They have a really good team. Coach Johnson and his staff have done a really good job. We said all week, relentless was kind of our word of the week. And, it took all 4 quarters, overtime. I mean, that's what high school football is supposed to look like. Yeah, at times we did a good job and at times we didn't do a good job. But, this is a young team. We're still learning and trying to get better. I'm really pleased with our kids. They just kept fighting. They stayed the course. It wasn't perfect, but it was a huge win right there for our team. Can't say enough about our seniors and the leadership that they showed at the end of the game.
Last week or during this week, everybody said MGM didn't have a quarterback, which was me, but they saying I was a running back, so I got a shirt made that say he's a running back, and I showed them I was a running back / quarterback, as they say today. Celebrating, I plan on going to Waffle House with my team. After we leave Waffle House, I plan on going home and going to sleep. I got work in the morning.
Man, you got to love that. What do you plan on doing to celebrate the walk-off overtime victory? I'm going to go to Waffle House with my team, and then I'm going to sleep because I've got to go to work.
That's number one. That's priorities. I mean, who else can lay their head tonight asleep and say, you know what? I ate meal with my teammates. I won a game for us, and I got to go to work in the morning.
You know what? Listen, man. I mean, I'm not going to be able to even go to sleep over all the adrenaline that I have over the MGM Baker game. Yeah. And Sean Harris is like, I'm taking a nap. Like, I got to go to bed.
And you got to love what I like about him is his self-awareness, and he understood, hey, it's like the old Michael Jordan thing. He would just find ways to motivate himself, and you could tell that he found a way that he said that, get rid of this moniker that I'm a running back.
Yeah.
I'm a quarterback, and most importantly, a playmaker.
Yeah, and he's proven that week in and week out. All right, guys, another huge one in terms of region implications in 6A Region 1. Let's head out to the beach. Gulf Shores and Theodore going down to the wire in like the most literal sense possible. Mark Husbeth and company, but check this out. Krishan Overton says, I'm going to keep this one, and off he goes. And he just about made a mistake here. We've seen this in college football, but goes to kind of put the ball down, thinks we get away from the defender, but ultimately it's a touchdown, 7-0. Theodore takes a lead on the road. All right, well, Gulf Shores isn't going anywhere necessarily, but Theodore came to play. They're back on the ground here. Kendrick Abel, a huge gain. He's eventually brought down by Jamichael Garrett, the standout athlete there for the Dolphins. Bobcats will be up 10-0 at that point. Then Colin Wilson finds pay dirt, and they take a 10-7. That's a 10-7 game at that point, and Theodore led it at the break. Okay, well, it was far from over at that point because they go into the second half of this game. It's back and forth and not a ton of scoring happening, whatever. Well, Gulf Shores has the ball. They have the lead. They have to punt away with like 20 seconds to play. If you were watching Jim Cox and company on the game broadcast, man, I actually quit watching this game. And I get a text from Ben Thomas, and it said, did you hear that Theodore had a walk-off Hail Mary with like an untimed down? I'm like, shut up, man. Like, that did not happen. Yeah, it did happen. Okay, so it's courtesy of Gulf Sports. Let's take a look at this right here, y'all. All right, this is going to be the view. Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay, check out this tipped ball. Gerhard. Man.
Unbelievable.
Have you ever seen anything like this before?
Never.
Never. I mean, at least not in high school. Let's watch this again.
Not for all the implications here. And watch here as, everybody can money quarterback as far as like batting the ball down, but this is just great awareness too. Yeah. They understand the ball is still in the air, get under it, catch it, secure it, and take it into the end zone for the touchdown and the win.
Yeah, and that is courtesy of Gulf Coast Media Sports. So we snagged that from Twitter there. What a finish for Steve Mask and the Theodore Bobcats in 6A Region 1, because honestly, that region is coming down to the wire. It's going to be Saraland, the 2 is going to be Spanish Fort or St. Paul's, and then the 3 is going to be the other one, and the 4 is going to be someone named Theodore, McGill-Toolen, Gulf Shores is potentially still in the mix. Yeah. This is going to go down, I think, to a couple different tiebreakers and what this all could look
Right.
like. And there's no telling, and I'm glad I don't have to do the math.
Yeah, and the tiebreakers are going to be the real big thing. We talked about this at the beginning of the season. Those tiebreakers are really important where you want to root for your region opponents to do really well, and these are the situations where it might matter at the end. But we said it on the front end, 2-3 losses, you're not out of this as far as playoffs go, and we've seen deep runs from 1 through 4 seeds in this region.
Yeah, we really, really have. All right, guys, we're going to keep things rolling here. And speaking of 6A Region 1, let's head over to the Lip, where McGill-Toolen hosted St. Paul's tonight, G.
Yeah, this is a really important battle here in Class 6A Region 1. Anthony Frazier, he and Tate Johnson have been a really key tandem in the backfield for Coach Han Barnett. Frazier gets into the end zone for the early touchdown, 7-0 lead. Shout out to the offensive line doing a great job blocking up front. And then a little bit later, it is Kenny Johnson to Tate Johnston and Arnell Hamilton. We talked about this over the air. He affectionately calls them the law firm, Johnson and Johnston. And,
I like it.
They connect twice here. This is just another phenomenal pitch and catch here from Johnson to Johnston, and Johnson makes a guy miss, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. That's an early 3-touchdown lead for St. Paul's. And I'll tell you what, Simone, of all the surprising finishes, this might be one of the most surprising, just how dominating it was a win for St. Paul's. Considering what happened last week, a crushing loss. This game could have, that emotional toll could have rolled into this week, and they didn't let it happen.
And I think that for McGill-Toolen, you know that this is a game that matters in terms of what your playoff stands, kind of what your playoff picture looks like right now. McGill probably needing a little bit of help going into the final couple weeks of the regular season. All right, guys, let's keep things rolling here. The War on the Shore in 7A Region 1. Fairhope and Daphne battling for the 3 and 4 spot. This is not Fairhope and Daphne highlights here. This is actually Foley and Davidson. So we'll work on those highlights in just a moment. Gerhard, you want to talk about Foley and Davidson while I work on getting the War on the Shore highlights? That would be amazing.
Yeah, this Foley-Davidson game, it was one of those games that, in my opinion, was really important as far as being able to get these two teams kind of fighting for pride at this point of the season. Hudson Spivey has been a guy that Coach Lambert and the Davidson Warriors have really relied on all season long. He's a great baseball player, one of the key leaders in the locker room. He had a big touchdown pass in this game. Cooper Hermes also with a big play in this game as well. Foley ended up winning this one 34-18. A lot of momentum, I think, for a Foley team that's had its ups and downs this season, but they ended up getting a big win today. Sure,
no doubt. All right, guys, now we have the War on the Shore. Sorry about that. I had a slight mix-up there, but we are good to go. Let's take a look at this huge game. Of course, Tim Carter, Kenny King, and company. And, man, two teams that are battling for that 3 and 4 spot there in 7A Region 1, G.
What I really loved about a lot of these games tonight, we've talked about it with the game earlier with Williamson, Viger, and we talked about it a little bit earlier with Baker, MGM. Rivalry games that mean something to the playoffs, and this was one of them, and the energy was felt early. Opening kickoff of the football game, LeBraylon Coleman Williams, 98 yards to the house. That's how you start a game right there. Big special teams play as the Trojans take the early lead. Now, after a Daphne safety, Fairhope this is the Daphne safety here, as you can see, as the Fairhope defense does a great job there, tackling them in the end zone for the safety. So they got the 2 points there. So after that safety, down 7-2, Fairhope now gets on the board via their offense as Jackson Robertson rolls out. This is a beautiful pass to Fisher Southall, and he gets into the end zone for the touchdown.
And shout out to Fairhope to come out and honestly, I mean, guns blazing on the road.
Yep.
In a game where they probably were not the favorite to win this game. And, of course, we do know that Daphne goes on to win this one, Gerhard, but honestly, a hat tip to Fairhope because they came out and I mean, you have to be proud of the effort here from these guys. Yeah,
and especially all that Daphne had coming back to this season, understanding that a lot of people had high hopes for Daphne. But Fairhope, they've had their ups and downs this year as well. They really, really played well in in general. But Daphne goes on to win this game. A nice little throwback pass there from Jalen Thibodeau to Sherez Gardner.
What is that celebration,
35-21. If somebody could tell us in the comments, it's going on everywhere.
Please, Lord, tell me what this is.
I don't want to sound like I don't want to be old because usually we're on top of these things. We know.
Honestly, that's true. Usually we're in with the things.
Right.
This is not.
I don't know the source of it.
I had one of our young people at the station say "slay" to me. By the way, this something slays. Shout out to Taylor. And then I'm seeing this. Are they covering their eyes when they do it?
Well, it's like covering your face mask. I'm gonna cringe when I watch this back. It's like covering your face mask and like doing this right here. So if somebody could tell us what I'm
so embarrassed.
What it is, because normally we know, but we don't.
We can see ourselves in this camera on the delay right now, and I'm in pain.
But it's not just we're seeing it in high school. I've seen it in college. It's been everywhere, and I want to know. So if somebody knows in the comment section, then please let us know here.
Someone please fix this. What is happening on this show right now? All right, guys, we're going to keep things rolling. Let's head to the land where things look, well, about how they always look when Jeff Kelly coaches the Saraland Spartans. KJ Lacey at quarterback, dumping it off here to Sante McWilliams Jr. in for the touchdown. And that was a lot more of that all throughout. Saraland looking to clinch the 6A Region 1 crown. And when you have guys like that can throw balls like that and catch balls like that, well, that's pretty much what it looks like. Terrence Senegal there on the 35-yard touchdown reception. It was 30-0 after the first quarter. After the second quarter, it was 44-0. And Santa McWilliams Jr. in a moment will get back into the end zone again, this time via, well, completely the ground game here. Nice little trickery there by Jeff Kelly, dialing it up in the backfield. Santa McWilliams into the end zone. They win 58-0. And Saraland is undefeated. They are going to win the 6A Region 1 crown again, and hopefully, at least if you're a Saraland Spartan, they're looking to get back into that title game and get a little bit of redemption from a year ago.
Yeah, certainly, and I think the way this team also handled it, we talked about St. Paul's, the way they handled it, the game last week, emotional game. They came out, responded well. I think also the same thing for Saraland as well. There could be a letdown after a win like that. They came out, took care of business, and now on the hunt for that region championship.
Let's head to Elberta now. The Warriors hosting UMS-Wright, and man, this is 5A Region 1. As we know, Viger takes the title. Williamson is the 2. The 3 is Citronelle. UMS looking at the 4 here, and some sloppy-ish play, at least from the highlights that we saw. And again, we kind of only get a sample size, but watch this play. I'm still not even sure what happened here, but the ball gets fumbled, and then somehow it's scooped up by Andrew Cook, 67 there with the touchdown, man. Like, take it. I love it. And, I mean, what more could you ask for? And then an interception here. Again, it's a great defensive plays there. Nate McDaniel is a great defensive coach, head coach there for the Warriors. UMS gets back to work offensively, but then watch this ball pop out. Man, and it ends up like in the end zone. I have no idea what was actually called on that play. Anyways, UMS wins 30-0. So a big win for Terry and company. I have to look at the numbers. I think, have you looked at it for 5A?
I haven't
I'm pretty sure that they are officially going to be in there at the 4.
Right. They're 3-3 after today's win at Elberta. They're
okay. And they have the tie, and BC Rain after their win is going to be 3-3. They're going to have that tiebreaker. I don't know what do they have next week.
And BC, I can look up BC Rain's schedule just to see who they have, but they, like you said, they had the most important thing, that win on the field. I think it was 15-6 in that football game. So
I just wasn't sure if there's another game. Like, is there another game that they have to win to totally clinch that? I guess for UMS to totally clinch that. Yeah. So
BC Rain has Viger, and then we'll play UMS-Wright just to make sure that there's not an extra game they need to clinch.
Faith Academy.
Play Faith Academy.
Yeah. So a win needed by both teams, I guess.
Correct.
I guess UMS to stay in there at the 4. BC Rain should they win over Viger, UMS falls, then that would go the opposite direction. But that's kind of how that region is shaping up. Yeah. All right, guys. We're going to go back to Davidson and Foley. We didn't get to fully show those highlights. Foley and Foley. It's Foley show Foley. Here we go. So over at Foley. Okay, this is a celebration. This is one we're going to point out. This is what we do on this show. We point out celebrations. Okay. If anyone knows our guy, 18 here, let me see. Hold on. I got his name. If anyone knows our guy, Kingston Butler from Davidson, what did you pull out of your pocket, and then did you get penalized for this?
I thought this was a towel at first, but it's kind of small for a towel.
It's like okay, so he literally exchanged his hands to pull out No, the official's right there. And so I can't see if he signals. I don't see any flags come here. So I guess, I don't know if it's a flag, excessive celebration. I didn't make the rule. That's just the rules. I'm just curious if he got in trouble for that. But anyways, touchdown anyway. Okay. Foley going back the other direction. A great completed pass there to Cooper Hermes. And that's going to set up Jalen Domain muscling his way into pay dirt. And Foley is going to get the victory here in this game. Looks like Foley right now is probably on the outside looking in terms of the playoff picture, but a win for Foley in 7A Region 1 nonetheless. Let's head over to Orange Beach and Mobile Christian. Beautiful full moon out there, caught by our guy Josh Harlan.
Yep, he did, and he caught up to a 7-7 football game when this thing started off. Damian Gaston Jr. hits Samaj Law for the touchdown. That breaks the tie, the go-ahead touchdown. 14-7 now. Leopards with the lead. And then Damian Gaston, we know he's a great baseball player, going to South, I believe, still committed to South to go play baseball, but phenomenal football player in his own right. Dials up his own number here. That's a 21-7 lead, and the Leopards would go on to win it big. That final score in this one was 35-21. So really important game for Mobile Christian in this one.
Okay, I'm laughing because we have some breaking news in here from Tyler Austin regarding that celebration.
oh, okay. You know what? This is breaking news. Flashing lights here. We need
Tyler Austin, the only person that has said anything about the celebration.
Shout out
we're
Tyler.
Still inquiring if Tyler's incorrect.
We'll vet you, Tyler, but we believe you.
Cam Ward at Miami.
Oh, okay.
Nobody really knows how it started, but that interpretation means that the team is crap.
Oh, stinks. Okay.
They stink.
Okay.
Like that?
Okay. I get it. I get it.
Guys, that is lame. That is so lame. If that's what that is, I am now going to laugh at anyone that does that.
It's everywhere.
Is that like a PU type thing? What is
I
that?
guess
oh
so,
my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a 2.5-year-old son that would do that. Probably towards me. What? That is what we've been sitting here trying to figure out.
Cam Ward, a trendsetter, a future first-round draft pick, and who knows, he was setting trends here. But no, that thing has been everywhere for the last about month or so. And so thank you, Tyler Austin, for that. But, hey, you don't know how these things get started. You know, it starts off with one guy.
Or how they continue, for that matter.
But, hey, here we are.
Lord. All right, guys, let's keep it rolling here. How about we roll down to Robertsdale, where the Golden Bears are hosting the Canes tonight, G-Money.
This is a big one here for the Canes. Actually, the Golden Bears actually got off to the great start here in this one. They
had a good field position after a kickoff return.
Yeah, they certainly did, and they took advantage of it as he gets into the end zone there for the big touchdown.
Yeah, that's Micah Hardy.
Hardy, yeah.
6-0.
Yeah, big 6-0 play there, 6-0 lead there. Then Bryant, they do the rest. Brennan Bourne to Keyshawn Douglas is a great run there. Big first down there. Then you got tackle a little bit later on.
Well, these are the original highlights, actually.
Correct.
So we had a defensive play there. Taylor Boyson, one of our reporters, is very efficient in her highlights, and so appreciate all of the great highlights that she sends back from this game. But
yeah, then this is right here, the Bourne to Douglas connection that would end up leading to a big touchdown for
Jaden James.
He would have a couple of touchdowns in this one. Hand the ball to 14, and good things happen. He had 2 touchdowns in the first half.
Put your playmakers in position.
Put your playmaker. I think I've heard that somewhere before.
I don't even know who said that.
It's just
40-12, the final score in this game.
Huge.
And listen, man, for teams that are on the outside looking in terms of playoff picture, wins are wins, and that's a big momentum shift in terms of going into the offseason. All right, guys, let's head over to Cottage Hill now, where the Warriors are run by the Tootle family and company, G.
Yeah, they certainly are. Coach Carvel Jones and company celebrating homecoming tonight over there at Cottage Hill. Monroe County coming in a big region game for them in Class 3A Region 1. You mentioned Tootle. There he hits Andrew White for a big play there, or Darius Craig, I should say, for a big play. And then Tootle doing it himself. This time it is Shamar Tootle going into the end zone for the touchdown. Shamar and Shadarius both playing key roles today in a much needed victory here for the Warriors. They get the big one here, 39-8 on homecoming. So it's a happy homecoming for Coach Carvel Jones and company. They've been knocking on the doorstep all season long. This team has been really fighting hard, and they eventually get it done today. Monroe County falls in this one, 39-8, once again, the final.
All right, so a big one for sure there. We had a couple of Thursday night games, guys, including Citronelle. The Wildcats have been right there close to the playoff picture. They've officially punted their ticket for the first time, I think, since 2019. 19 maybe, courtesy of Eli Owens. 3 touchdowns by the Wildcat in the Wildcat.
Yeah, appropriately named for the position he played here. And this is a nice play here from Severino Lyons. Somehow just picks that ball up. It was a bad snap, but picked it up and took it into the end zone for the LaFleur touchdown. It's good to see the Rattlers fighting for Coach Renardo Jackson, but too much Eli Owens last night. You mentioned the 3 touchdowns. Well, here was the second one. That touchdown celebration was short-lived because he could flip a game like that. And Owens has a big night with the hat trick, and Citronelle wins it 27-18.
And over at BC Rain, the Red Raiders welcoming in Faith Academy last night, G.
Yeah, this is a bounce-back situation for BC Rain. They lost to Citronelle, who you just saw a close 1-point game last week, but they took some frustrations out yesterday on Faith Academy. That's a nice play there by Davis Emmerin into the end zone for a touchdown. Not the first time you'll hear his name, but watch this play here from Faith Academy. Good to see Coach Eric Speakman and his guys still playing hard here in this one. It's a great way to get out and find – this is Matthew Latner in the back of the end zone for the touchdown. Coach Eric Speakman and company and the Rams just keep fighting, and you like to see that, but it was just too much Coach Yelding and the Red Raiders. Talked about Davis Emmerin with the touchdown to begin the highlight. He has a touchdown here to end the highlight. 52-28 was the final score last night. BC Rain bounces back after the loss last week to get a big win.
And let's not forget, BC Rain graduated probably the best senior class that they have had in a minute. And so whether they're in the playoff picture or not right now, probably right there on the edge at the 5, still a lot of great things there for BC Rain. And for Faith Academy, I talked to Eric Speakman the other day, and he said we have a ton of young guys. We were playing guys who've never played a varsity snap before. And so in that, 5A is a tough region down here. Honestly, nearly about every region is in terms of any class. And so no doubt that there's a big future ahead for both of those teams. We have other scores from around the area, guys. Going to throw out some of those. St. Michael, who's a top 10 team in the state in 4A, goes to Pensacola and gets a win 38-37. Bayside Academy stays perfect in region play, Gerhard, 10-0 over XL. And that's a big win for Bayside. It's going to set up a blockbuster matchup with TR Miller next week.
Yeah, that's a region championship game and kind of a sneaky quiet one because Bayside Academy has not been ranked all season. It's a little bit setting up a little bit like St. Paul's Saraland to me. Saraland, the number 1 team in the state, undefeated, gets all the statewide hype. St. Paul's was not, but they were just creeping there and just kept winning. That's exactly what Coach Barrett Schroeder and the Admirals have done. They lost that first game to St. Michael. They've done nothing but win ever since, setting up that Titanic matchup with the Tigers next week.
Yeah, no doubt. And honestly, I think that a lot of people didn't know what Bayside would look like after Sammy Dunn went to Viger this offseason and what we're going to do at quarterback situation. So hats off to Barrett Schroeder and company for really pulling it together, man. Yeah. And they're only 1 loss on the year. Millry beats Southern Choctaw 41-0. Big win there. Hillcrest Evergreen in the win column this week. They bounced back from their previous loss to Bayside, 46-17 there. Leroy beats Fruitdale 38-13. Sweetwater shuts out Marengo 41-0. JU Blacksher 55-2 over Central Hayneville. Thomasville wins 47-0 over Dale County. Now, I know we had a couple of other scores in the area. I want to find those. Chickasaw beats Bayshore Christian 42-21. Jackson shuts out W.S. Neal as the undefeated, at least in region play, ranked number 1 in 4A. Aggies 48-0 over W.S. Neal in that game. Satsuma beats Escambia County 14-13. So a lot of scores all throughout the area, guys. Of course, we're trying to cover everybody, many people as we can, as we navigate week 9 of the high school football season.
A lot of close games here. And whether it's 2 teams that are, playing for pride essentially, or 2 teams playing for a region championship, you just love to see this time of year everybody laying their hearts out, everybody, laying everything out to be able to try to win these football games, put their team in a position to win. And it's really great to see. And as these scores roll in and as we kind of formulate what the playoffs look like, and then you start doing the matchups across the regions and find out who matches up with who, this time of year is always really fun because there's so many possibilities out there as we stand here today.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy for sure. I feel like we feel good about what 7A looks like, of course, as we recap just a few of these games. MGM beats Baker in overtime, an incredible walk-off win. I'll pull that back up if you want to see it here as MGM walks this one off on 4th and goal. Shondell Harris there sneaks his way in. This game is on the road. Zach Golson says, "Give me the region dub." We're not worried about trying to tie this one and kick a field goal. I mean, that was all or nothing there. I mean, 4th down, 4th and goal. I mean, come on now.
Yeah,
come on now.
And this is the second overtime game they played. Remember they played Pace High School at the very beginning of the season.
That's a good point.
And lost that football game. You had to know that there were some lessons learned. And, hey, when we go to overtime, we're going to count on our guys. And they got it done.
Yeah, no doubt. So they will finish the season at Davidson. And Davidson just fell to Foley tonight. So that region looking like it's going to be MGM and Baker at home, followed by Daphne at the 3. And I believe it'll be Fairhope at the 4 in terms of the playoff picture. Again, one more week of region play for the teams in 7A Region 1. A crazy, crazy finish down at the beach. I want to show you this one again, courtesy of the Gulf Coast Media Sports. Take a look. Theodore is going to win as time expires. That noise right there, G. That noise is the game ending.
That's the whistle.
Okay, so there's like 3 seconds left. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. That sounds like a fire truck. That's the end of the game, and this is how it ends. I mean, unbelievable. As Steve Mask and company get the tipped ball Hail Mary. I mean, that was straight up. I mean, that's just crazy. And a huge win for Theodore because, again, like we said off the top of the show, they're right there in the mix. I'd have to look at how it's all going to shake out, and I don't know what the answer is to that. Right. I think that Theodore, I mean, I don't know, because Theodore lost to McGill.
Right. They lost to McGill.
But they beat Gulf Shores.
That's
Gulf
right.
Shores beat McGill.
Yep.
But lost. Listen, guys.
I think it'll be a
like down to like the 17th tiebreaker round robin, 3 teams, like non.
Sincerely, I
honestly,
think
and if I called Steve Mask right now, he'd probably have every single scenario.
if this team beats this team, if we win here,
that's what coaches do. That's what coaches who care about how it's going to look. That's what they do. So that's what that 6A is going to be a little bit of an interesting situation over there. We do know that it'll be a lock for the top 3. Saraland already the region champs. Number 2, it's a huge game next week as St. Paul's is up against Spanish Fort. Where is that game going to be?
I'll pull that one up.
I feel like it's on the Hill, but I could be wrong. But it's going to be Saraland, St. Paul's, Spanish Fort in some capacity. Saraland's the 1, the other 2 are the 2 and the 3, and then the 4. I'm guessing it's Theodore. Anybody have a better idea of what that's going to be? Is that St. Paul's?
Yeah, it's at St. Paul's, but we're working ahead. Keep in mind, next week it's Spanish Fort McGill. So.
Oh man.
Yeah. So we were kind of.
Why did I think that they already played?
Yeah, same here. And according to our site.
That's what you get when you try to get ahead of yourself. And honestly, it's a 9-team region, so it's easy to do.
Yeah. So we really have 2 weeks of. You got to keep your eye on kind of football going on here because, McGill.
I ain't the coach. I can sit here and talk about predictions. I'm just kidding.
McGill, so McGill Spanish Fort next week. That's a monster matchup, and I think
I forgot they had 2 more weeks, both all those teams.
Right.
So,
yeah. So there's a lot of football still left to be played here in this region, a lot to be determined because let's throw some possibilities out there. You talked about Steve Mass doing it. We could do it for 15 seconds. Let's just say McGill-Toolen wins that football game next week, and St. Paul's ends up falling to Spanish Fort, and now you have kind of like a 3-team.
Dude, you don't even know. Honestly, I mean, it could be.
Four teams for 2 spots.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it mathematically.
You never know. You never know what this could look like. It could certainly shape up to be any which way, as we know in high school football. And then you got to consider, people turning people in for legal players and how that happens in week 10 and 11 all the time.
It's all over.
Anyway, in 5A, Viger is the 5A Region 1 champ. They beat Williamson 19-2 was the final score there.
Yep. So the Deep has got a shutout.
Yep. Williamson is going to be the 2 in that region. We have Citronelle at the 3, and right now UMS at the 4. In 4A, There's Jackson. Jackson is pretty much a standalone.
Right,
like the
because they
best
beat St.
team
Michael.
in the dang. Yeah.
Jackson, St. Michael, and Orange Beach have all clinched at least a playoff spot. Jackson, we can safely assume that they will go ahead to win this region. And then St. Michael, Orange Beach, W.S. Neal, and Mobile Christian still all in the hunt there for those last playoff spots.
And then moving down to 3A, we know that next week it's going to be T.R. Miller and Bayside Academy.
Right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
both
who's
teams
clinched in there?
Both teams undefeated in region play. The only team that's clinched a playoff spot, so
That
even
was
if they lose out,
as of last week. So as
right.
of tonight, Bayside probably has clinched at least
clinched
point.
at least a playoff spot. Yeah, so even if they lose out, they'll still have a spot there. But Hillcrest Evergreen Bayside Academy has the win already over them and
Excel,
and Excel tonight. So yeah, it's looking like TR Miller Bayside Academy region championship game. The loser is the 2, and will still host a playoff game.
Yep.
And Hillcrest Evergreen, XL, Flomaton will battle it out for those final 2 spots to find out who's on the road in the first round of the playoffs.
All right. It's going to be a fun one, guys. We will continue to keep you updated on your high school football coverage all throughout the Gulf Coast and beyond. It's been super fun. 9 weeks. It's flown by.
Yeah.
I mean, November is pretty much here, so this is nuts. But Gerhard, man, it's been a lot of fun. We appreciate everybody tuning in to Fifth Quarter Extra. We love being on this platform and really just getting to showcase all of our high school football coverage every Friday.
Yeah, what I've loved is 2 things. Great finishes, great games, and I'm going to add a third. I'm going to add a bonus. Thank you, I think it's to Tyler, for letting us know what this is. That way everybody knows. When everybody sees it, they know. It's Cam.
Is it this? Is it nose or is it your face?
I've seen the whole face mask. The whole face mask. I mean, since we're already here, it's like that could be the new thing.
That's our
You
thing.
could be the Cam Ward of media.
All right, guys. On that note, thanks for tuning in to Fifth Quarter Extra. For Gerhard, I'm Simone. Have a great. You're supposed to be doing the same time. Bye.
See ya.
Bye. That's embarrassing. Mute the mics.